It's the MasterChef Quarterfinal. And this week's best amateurs are back to face two more daunting tests.
With the quarterfinal, I get the sense that this is where the competition really begins.
Well, now I've got to this point, I don't really know. I think maybe I could get a lot further.
The mind boggles at the prospect of potentially going, you know, to the semi-finals.
I've had to take myself out of work, left my family. Nothing is good enough unless it's the end and I've got that trophy.
We have the 4 best cooks from this week's heats, and they were some great heats as well.
Who's going to be good enough to join the illustrious few who've gone through already?
Welcome to the MasterChef quarterfinal. Your first test is to cook a main course, and you have been given a brief.
You got 1 hour and 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of this, we'll introduce you to the person who gave you that brief. Let's cook.
I'm looking for a classic British dish or a well-made Indian dish. I want strong flavours, I want brilliant combinations of taste and texture, I want simplicity.
Paul, for me, is a fascinating cook. He's taking everyday, ordinary ingredients and making really special food out of it. He elevates it to a place that you want to say, wow.
You're happy with the brief, are you?
I'm very happy with the brief.
Why?
It's all about flavour, and I love the flavours that I'm going to be putting on the plate.
Yeah! Go Paulie, go Paulie, go Paulie. What are you making, Paul?
Roast pheasant with bread sauce, red wine and port jus, and carrots and bacon.
Paul's promising us a brilliant autumnal dish. That pheasant meat will be lovely and succulent as long as he bastes it well, lots of butter and lots of seasoning.
You've had 20 minutes, all right? 20 minutes have gone.
Right.
Laura has the potential to go a long way in this competition.
She was the standout cook for me of this week's heats.
But she's got to stop making silly little mistakes.
No, that's a bad idea. Today I am doing a take on a fish pie, but it's a smoked haddock mousse, a cod fillet, a king prawn, mashed potato in a warm tartar sauce.
What do you think the person's after?
Something tasty overall, I would say. Tasty and very British, which I do think fish pie is. At least I've always thought it was.
I think a fish pie seems very, very British.
Well, that's good news.
How do you think the person's going to feel when he finds that you've got an Italian cheese and a French liqueur?
Well, the thing is, Greg, unless you tell him that, he's not going to know. So if you keep your trap shut, we'll be laughing, won't we?
Fair enough.
Laura's decided to take a British classic, the fish pie, and deconstruct it. The thing about classics is you shouldn't be clever with them, you should just cook them really well.
You are halfway.
Watch out, I don't want to be responsible for hurting anybody.
Ella has delivered to us really good flavour, really interesting cooking and amazing potential.
I'm doing a take on a steak and mushroom pie, very British. Raised ox cheek with porcini and portobello mushrooms in a parsley shortcrust pastry with mash.
Why this dish?
Whenever I'm feeling down, my dad will always cook me a steak and mushroom pie, and they're amazing. So I was like, I want to do something like that.
Everybody loves a meat pie.
Everybody does, right?
Inside that pie is a beef cheek, and that beef cheek has to fall apart at the seams. So really, she has 40 minutes to cook the cheek. That's pushing it.
Hello, bad boy. Beef cheek is normally something that I would happily cook for like 9-10 hours, but I wanted to do something different. I've done it, it does totally work. You can't really go that wrong with a steak and mushroom pie, I would have thought.
20 minutes left, please.
I've lost all my ingredients. Oh, it's right in front of me.
Fran can deliver big flavours, good textures, she understands that, but her food looks too scruffy for me.
These dishes, they have been tried and tested, a large extended family who don't take any prisoners. So if I can pull it off today, these dishes should be banging.
Fran, you've got stuff everywhere.
Yes, I have. I'm doing 6 elements.
6 elements to a dish?
Yeah. Chicken curry, cauliflower and onion pakora, rice, naan bread, a raita and a little tomato and onion chutney.
The brief was to cook something British or Indian.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone for British apart from you.
Yep.
Why?
Well, because I am comfortable cooking a curry. Curry's very traditionally British now as well.
How do you feel about being in a quarter-final?
Amazing. Amazing. I feel like, I can't actually get the grin off my face.
Fran's cooking for us a chicken curry. It's going to be rich and it's going to be fragrant, but it's going to have a decent kick to it. The issue is it going to be classic?
You've got just 10 minutes left.
What am I doing?
I think I'm going to make it on time. I think.
3 minutes! That's it!
It's like boobies.
Come on, baby, do this for Mummy and I will be a happy girl. Phew.
Stop! That's it.
I'm a bit upset, really, because I didn't expect it to look quite this green. It doesn't exactly say eat me, but never mind.
It's all good.
As long as it's on there, genuinely don't care.
Now you've finished cooking, it gives me pleasure to introduce to you the guy that gave you this brief. Ladies and gentlemen, food writer and highly respected restaurant critic, Charles Campion. Charles, could you remind our contestants what your brief was, please?
I'm looking for a classic British dish, or indeed an Indian dish. I'm not so keen on fancy folderols and fiddly bits. Simple means good.
Right, Paul.
Paul is serving a classic British dish of roast pheasant with cabbage and bacon, carrot puree, game chips, bread sauce, and a red wine and port reduction.
You got the bread sauce right. This is damn rare. Pheasant, I don't think you've redeemed him properly. The Jew and the cabbage are really nice, but I'm still bowled over by the bread sauce.
Paul, I think in essence you've got a really good dish. What I do really like is its robust flavours and its definition. As for your pheasant, when you roast it, turn it onto its breast to rest it, not on its back, because all inside that cavity is the lovely juice that should be inside your breast.
I like the smoky bacon with the cabbage. I like the sweetness and strength of your sauce. I think everybody here enjoyed your flavours.
I'm glad.
I think they did.
Good. I was completely surprised by that because I really do like Charles's writing. For me, he's the voice of reason, so for him to say that was just astounding.
Laura has made her take on fish pie. Pan-fried cod fillet with mashed potato, smoked haddock mousse and a grilled prawn, served in a warm tartar sauce.
I like your flavours.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit complicated.
I did wonder if you'd say that.
I would venture to suggest that if you left out 2 elements, it would be just as good, in fact, better.
Okay.
Inside there is the essence and the power, I think, of a very good dish. I like the cod and mashed potato, and I also like it with a little bit of the sauce, but it's nothing like a fish pie.
Mm-mm.
A fish pie is a marvellous thing because it's so comforting. This isn't comforting.
Yeah,
It's a little bit difficult.
a bit frightening.
I've got a mousse sitting in a warm sauce with mashed potato. It's a
Okay.
little challenging.
Okay. I don't know, I wasn't convinced it was going to work. I just thought, well, let's see what they say. It makes it kind of more exciting. It's a bit more fun.
Fran's Indian main is chicken curry served with cauliflower pakoras, basmati rice, naan bread, raita, and a chili, tomato and onion chutney.
I really like the pakora. I think the cauliflower is a much maligned and misunderstood vegetable, and it comes over very well. I think your curry could take a little bit more spike of some kind.
Yeah, well said.
It's in that general area of sweet curries, which can get to being a bit dull. I like it.
Thank you, Charles.
I'm impressed with all your work, Fran. I really am. I'm impressed with the amount of work you've done. Your little tomato and onion chutney is great. Your chicken curry, almost.
Love the pakoras, love the bread, love the rice, love the texture of the curry, love your tomato relish. Just need some spice in a curry.
Yeah. Wow, Charles Campion. Oh! Just the main element, just getting that punch in there, I just didn't do it.
Ella has made her version of steak and ale pie, parsley short crust pastry pie with braised ox cheek and porcini mushrooms, served with mashed potato, peas and gravy.
I didn't intend for the plate to be quite this green, if I'm totally honest with
It's got
you.
a slight greenness to
Yeah,
it.
it does, doesn't it? You've obviously got very fresh parsley.
This is a dish whose heart is in the right place. Because of the constraints of how you've cooked it, the meat in the pudding is still pretty chewy. Apart from that, it's a very lovely thing, and I commend you.
For me, it's a game of two halves, Ella. I love the presentation. I love the pastry. I think it's really good. The meat is hard, and it has a whiff of it because it's been caught on the bottom of your pressure cooker.
Lovely ideas. Well-made mashed potato, well-made pastry. However, the gravy's not quite deep enough, and there is an acrid taste of burnt lingering over the whole thing.
With hindsight, I shouldn't have tried to push it up. I should have just done what I normally do and use shin. But I've done the best that I can, so I'm happy as you can be. It could have been worse. It could have, like, collapsed or something, you know.
Right, well done. That's one test under your belt.
It's dessert time. Charles, you want to remind them of their brief?
It was a brief, and it went like this. You should be overwhelmed by a good pudding.
You guys have 1 hour and 15 minutes to make your dessert. At the end of this, one of you will leave the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, let's cook. Fran's dessert sounds interesting. We've got segments of orange, flavoured with ginger and with chilli. It's being served with a cardamom ice cream and a ginger tuile. Big flavours, lots of spicing.
You're watching me while I make my twirls.
Well, as long as I'm not watching when you burn the tuile, that's all that
Okay,
concerns
well,
me, really.
Got about 4
When they get
minutes
a
then.
nice brown. Yeah. Where's the intensity coming from?
Cardamom in the ice cream, chilli and ginger in the orange syrup.
Not the chilli from the curry. It's finally made it back.
It's made an appearance, Charles.
Oh, good.
I was
Well,
going to
that's
get
all
it in there somewhere.
That's all right. I'm glad to hear it. Don't burn your tuile.
I'm trying not to.
What are you doing?
I don't know where my ice cream pot is.
How can you lose your ice cream? What sort of contestant loses their ice cream?
Laura, again, has given herself a huge amount of work to do, and I wonder if we've got one too many ingredients going on the plate. We've got a chocolate and orange tart. She's serving that with an orange curd. Next to that, she's got a clotted cream ice cream.
Nice.
So far behind is she that Greg Wallace is actually helping her out right now.
Over there, fine. Have you got enough time to do all these things?
Phew, yeah, I hope so, yeah. Yeah, easy.
You pushed yourself in the last round, you're pushing yourself again now.
Yep, that's working out well, isn't it?
Why do you love this?
Because I'm not a big dessert fan, but I love chocolate orange. It's one of the few sweet things I could eat.
What sort of impact do you need to have now?
An overwhelming one, I would guess. I think if this doesn't go as planned, we're in trouble.
That's a lot of pressure
That
on
is
one
a lot of
pudding,
pressure.
isn't it?
It is, I know, poor old Pud.
You've got 35 minutes left.
OMG, how did that happen?
God, this isn't a lot, is it? Definitely for one.
What's the plan?
So it is a take on an English trifle with all the yumminess that you like in a trifle.
You actually feel that you can improve on a trifle?
No, I don't even pretend to. It's just that I always have trifle. Like at Christmas, my family do trifle. We love it.
It's a famous dish.
And I think it's much maligned. I don't think it's done enough in restaurants and things nowadays.
The Italians call it suppa inglese.
Which makes sense.
English
soup.
Elle's making us a dish inspired by a trifle. Inspired by a trifle, make us a trifle. Right now, I'm concerned about all the processes going through and what the dish is going to look like.
We have just 20 minutes left. What did you gather from the brief?
First of all, I don't have a sweet tooth and I'm not great at creating desserts either.
What are you giving me, your resignation speech, Paul?
No, pudding that overwhelms, I think, is something that reminds you of something good. You can have really fancy desserts, but at the same time, people just want something that makes them feel warm and lovely and comforted.
Paul's decided to go back to his roots, Jamaican family, and give us something tropical. Pineapple and rum, delicious. Then we've got a coconut pudding, a lime curd. Interesting.
We're now down to 10 minutes.
It's too cold, trying to warm it up. I'm having a mare today. Chocolate split. This is bad news at this stage.
I greased the tins quite well, but clearly not well enough.
Just 4 minutes left.
Oh, if I could just stop shaking.
Yes, brilliant.
Oh, I hate you, you absolute tosser. Never goes right on MasterChef. Never goes the way you practice it.
Time's up. Pack it in. Stop.
Just do me a favour and don't look at mine. Because that would be really upsetting for me. Yep, that's right. Everyone's looks amazing except mine, which looks like somebody
Yours
has
is just
died.
slightly tipped, that's all.
Oh, especially
I think that looks cracking.
Yeah, sorry guys, just don't.
I'm scared of those blackberries.
Paul, up you come, please.
Paul has made a tropical dessert of coconut sponge with rum roasted pineapple, lime curd and basil mint sugar.
Hey.
I think the coconut pudding, a sea of custard and some pineapple would be just about perfection. As it is, the coconut pudding is very good on its own. Kind of bowls me over.
The coconut sponge, to me, is light. It's sweet enough. I love the flavour of coconut. It's wonderful.
Your pineapple is delicious. Your lime curd is really, really lovely. I like your mint sugar. I think you need a lot more of it, though. And for me, that's the issue. The pudding's good, but I want loads more pineapple, loads more lime, loads more sugar.
I feel much better after dessert than I felt when I was going in. Desserts are not my strong point, but I think there was enough on the plate that they liked, so I'm happy.
Laura's dessert is a chocolate and orange tart served with caramelised hazelnuts, orange curd, and a clotted cream ice cream.
I've got to say, it's the cleanest, most concise looking plate you've served us in the competition so far.
Oh.
Pastry's good. Delivers a really nice hit of chocolate. That's terrific. I like the ice cream. I think it's really very nice food.
Thanks.
I think your tart is getting there. However, the curd hasn't worked.
Okay.
I think it's absolutely delicious. You have cleverly, somehow or other, taken milk chocolate, which doesn't really have much vibrancy to it, put it inside this sort of chocolate pastry tart shell, and caramel and the chocolate have come together to make this chocolate caramelly nutty filling, which is absolutely lovely.
Get in, yes. I was nervous about what they were going to think, and I was so pleased that Charles liked it. It was just nice to go up there and give them something that they did like. Well, the majority bar Greg.
Fran has made an Asian-inspired dessert of spiced ginger and chili oranges with cardamom ice cream and ginger twirls.
Oh.
I think it's good but not great. It's a very strong orange element in there. The ice cream's sound enough. Well, yeah, good pud.
Okay, I'll take that.
Your cardamom ice cream needs more cardamom.
Right.
The twirls I don't mind too much. They could be a bit crisper, but for me that needs to be a little bit thicker, because at the moment I feel like I'm having orange drink with an orange and ice cream.
I think it's really nice. I'm really sorry to disagree with you, but I'm giggling at it because it's almost dessert becoming a curry, yet still refreshing. I think it's very clever.
It was quite experimental, so I get it totally, but I would love to eat it and Greg would, so that's good enough for me.
Finally, it's Ella's trifle, orange liqueur-soaked sponge, layered with blackberry jam and creme pâtissière, topped with clotted cream and served with blackberry jelly and pecan praline.
Trifle, but not quite as we know it.
Have you made this especially for Halloween, Ella?
Yes.
Because it's scaring me.
It is a frightening dish, but full of possibilities.
If you'd said to me, I'm going to do a blackberry jelly with some nice clotted cream, I'd been very happy to see it as a pudding, but it's got very complicated and things do not link one to another.
The beauty of a trifle is when you stick your spoon in, you put it in your mouth and it all joins together. This is sort of all joined together, and when you put it in your mouth, it all sort of falls apart.
I think you got some nice ideas on here. I find it a bit confused as well, Ella. I'm sorry.
I wish I'd done sticky toffee pudding. I shouldn't have tried to overcomplicate it. I should have just gone with what I do at home. They were right. I just wish that I'd cooked something different.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I am, because I know it's true.
Smile.
Thank you.
Cheers, cheers. A good day's eating.
There are 3 places in Knockout Week. Of course, there's 4 of you, which means that 1 of you is going to leave the competition. Thanks very much, guys. Off you go. Great brief, classic British or classic Indian, followed by a pudding.
Paul did very well in both rounds. Charles loved his pheasant, I loved his pheasant. You liked it. I thought his coconut sponge was delightful. Paul's had quite a solid quarter-final.
He's got technique, he's got great touch.
So Paul goes through.
Agreed. The bit I admired the most from Fran today was her curry. Yes, the sauce needed some more punch from chilli, but the cooking was great.
I loved Fran's dessert. It's my favourite dessert. And I think Fran is coming into her own.
Fran has got some skill, and I think the more we push Fran, the better she gets.
Then we need to decide between Laura and Ella.
Laura's fascinating for me because she gives herself so much work to do, and I'd like her to learn just to take it back one more step.
The main course from Laura was muddled. Some good cooking, some nice touches, but less would have most certainly been more.
But the tart, for me, was delicious.
The question is, has Laura done enough?
My journey's been quite hairy up to now, and things go either very well or very wrong. So that remains quite exciting, but yeah.
Ella likes to experiment, she likes to push herself. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Ella presented us with this mountainous pie that was slightly burnt, and the actual meat itself was a little bit tough. Saying that, the work that went into the dish was admirable. I loved the pastry around the outside with the parsley and the mustard. Ella's dessert was pretty much a mess.
I know that Ella's had faults today, but I believe Ella to be a good cook.
I can do better than that. It was an erring judgment on my part because I was trying to be all adventurous and I didn't need to be. I could have just stuck with what I know.
Who has got that something special?
I think I know who should go through.
Deal.
You're going to trust me?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if it goes wrong, it's all your fault. Thank you very much. 3 of you are going through to knockout week. 1 of you is leaving us.
Right. The contestant leaving the competition is Ella. Thank you, hon.
Thanks, Ella.
It's been a great experience. I wouldn't have changed it for a second, but equally, c'est la vie. Go back, get on with it, and I look forward to watching MasterChef with a cup of tea and a crumpet.
Yeah, still here. Hanging on by a thread. Swinging like this.
Still in it?
Yes,
Still in it.
I am absolutely shattered but happy, because I'm exhausted doing something that I love.
It's an awesome feeling. I feel like I'm walking on air and I'm enjoying the bubbly as well, which is nice.
Cheers.
Laura, Fran and Paul will be back for the knockouts. Next time, a new group of contestants battle it out for a place in the quarterfinals.
Fire!
2 real crowd pleasers, really, isn't it?
I'd like to say something nice about the dish, but I can't.